All right, folks, here we go again. New York City is going to prove my point yet again and their wicked, satanically inspired leadership. Now, I'm going to make this point because I think it's important, and I'm going to keep emphasizing it because it's worth being emphasized and it's worth discussing on a regular basis because it's a biblical principle. And that is this: the more wicked a people become, the less regard they have for human life. If you don't believe me, take a look at what nations everywhere are doing regarding the issue of abortion. Heck, you don't have to look at other nations. Take a look at the United States of America. See what we are doing, especially in California, New York, and many other places. There is no regard for human life, and they are on the move to show even less regard for human life. We've seen the stories in Canada. We've seen the stories all over Eastern and Western Europe. And now I am looking at an article. And by the way, this is interesting. This is on The Guardian, okay? We're not talking about the most reliable news. And it says, New York governor legalizes human composting after death. No joke, folks. By the way, if this sounds absolutely disgusting to you, well, it is. But keep this in mind. This rule that New York has put into place represents the 6th state to pass legislation since 2019 that gives people access to an alternative green method to burial. Now, I just have to say this. When a person dies, their body is really expired. It doesn't really mean a whole lot in that when I die, I'm going to go be with the Lord, right? My body that you look at when I'm dead has absolutely nothing to do with me other than the fact it was the address in which I lived for quite some time. But I'm with the Lord, so my body doesn't really matter, okay? Now, I know my family members might beg to differ, right, because of the emotion and the attachments that they feel being here on this earth, but it really doesn't matter. But that isn't the issue here, right? The issue does not relate to any of that. The issue with this story relates to a blatant and open disrespect and disregard for human life. It is absolutely wicked. And in the name of worshiping Almighty Mother Nature and in the name of environmentally friendly behavior, we are going to do something with human bodies that God never intended for us to do, and that is the kind of world that we live in. It is so sad. It is absolutely terrible. No regard for human life, no dignity as it relates to the life that was actually lived, and quite frankly, we shouldn't be surprised because when a nation chooses to embrace wickedness, this is the result of such an embracing. We begin to see things like this, and folks, I promise you we're going to start seeing worse than this. We're going to start seeing things way worse than this because the days are getting darker and people are embracing wickedness and the lie instead of righteousness and the truth. It's time to open up our eyes and recognize things for what they are.